Air pumps. Do you need them? And if you do, what type of air pump do you need for your aquaponic system? I know what I need for mine, but do you need one for your aquaponic system? Let's go through and have a look, because not all air pumps are created equal. It's like not all cars are created equal. Let's have a look and see. Check out the description to find some more information about aquaponics and how you can move forward and get this happening. Air pumps in aquaponics. Do we need to have them? And if we do, what do we need? Well, the first point is, I'm going to say it depends on the size of your system. Size sometimes does matter. A small little barrel aquaponic system like this, and check out the barrel playlist to actually see how to build this. Really easy, under like $350. Took me a couple of hours. It's really simple. But this little barrel system that has little goldfish down the bottom and has one side flood and drain, the other side constant flow, water constantly moving and splashing about, there's actually lots and lots of aeration in here. A bigger system won't have as much aeration within it. Even if you go, oh, but there's a bit of, the water's moving, sure, moving water does aerate. But here's the thing, our glorious plants, and oh my god, this coriander is ready to harvest. Our plants put oxygen into the water during the day, but at night they take oxygen out of the water. Our fish also use oxygen constantly. And then we have our bacteria. Yeah, it still uses oxygen. It needs oxygen to be able to survive, otherwise it's the anaerobic bacteria, bad bacteria. We don't want that in our aquaponic system. And you can hear the flood drainers just kick in with the bell slapping. So there's three things within your aquaponic system that need air. Now, I worked within aquaculture, oh my god, like 12 years ago. And I did training and studies in that as well. And we had so many fish deaths in those big ponds when people forgot to turn the aerator on, and I'm talking about these big, kind of like windmills, big blades that were moving around in the ponds. And what that was doing was churning up the water, aerating it. And when someone forgot to turn that on at night, because it was only ever put on during the night, the fish would be dead at 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning seems to be when all the algae that's within our water, especially dams, but within our aquaponic system, we can't really stop algae because it's water and there's light and there's nutrients. When there's algae in there, that also takes oxygen out of the water. So if everything is taking oxygen out of the water at night and there's nothing there to put oxygen back in, circulate the water, get things moving around, things will start dying. So we'd rock up in the morning and we would find a whole heap of dead fish, and I mean thousands of dead fish, because someone forgot to flip that on switch. I recommend having things on constantly rather than on a timer or I'll remember to turn that on and off. That's a me thing. A small little system like this, I don't have an air pump on it. My bigger aquaponic system, and again, check out the playlists that show you how I built my bigger system, what it looks like, and I'm pointing it over there. Yes, I have an air pump in that. It's a constant flow system, so with constant flow you do need to make sure that you have lots and lots of aeration within your water. Constant flow means the water will stay at a constant level in your grow bed, whereas the flood and drain means the water will flood up and then it will drain out. Flood up, drain out. So you need to make sure with the constant flow you have air stones in there. But as I have a combination of both and I'm balancing it out, and it's very small, this one's sweet. The bigger system, constant flow, definitely have aeration in there. But then, what type of air pump? Well, this is an aquarium air pump, but it's broken, but for the purposes of this, it'll do. It is an air pump. Plug it into the power. It then has a switch that I can adjust how strong I want the airflow to be. And we have the air hose, which then pushes air out through an air stone, but I couldn't find a small one for this one, sorry. So this is the bigger air stone. You put that in your fish tank, in your sump, in your grow beds. It doesn't really matter if your water is cycling around. So if I wanted to put this in this little aquaponic system, you can't have too much aeration, but you could definitely have not enough. So even if you're going, oh, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? If you're doing that, then you should. If you're debating, always go with the safest option. So this little air pump would be perfect for here if I decided I needed it. And there's a very good reason for it. This is a small pump. It does not push enough air through the big hose long distances or down deep. So I would have this on the ground near where it would be going, so it would only be lifting up to about 50 centimeters high. It has enough oomph, so to speak, to be able to push air through at that height. But here's the thing, we often go to an aquarium shop going, I need an air pump for my aquaponics system, and they don't know what that is, or they don't know how high it is, and you can be sold this and it's not going to do the job. It's not going to push the water if you've got a deep fish tank. So if you've had a look at any of the videos of my bigger system, you'll see that I use an aquaculture tank, and aquaculture tanks are 1 meter high. So that's about here. This little air pump does not have enough oomph to be able to push air all the way down that depth. And they do tell you on the box, and if you talk to the people, how much pressure they can do. They can either talk to you in pressure or how deep they can go. They do one or two things in the box. So for my bigger aquaponics system, I had to go for a bigger air pump. Now, this small one's about 30 bucks. This one was about 130 bucks. Very dusty, and I do actually, because this is also waterproof, this particular one, I take the top off when I need to check the air filter and clean that out. I have, instead of just 1 or 2 air hoses that can go in like the small one, this particular one has 4. It also has valves that I can turn on and off if I want to adjust things, because if you don't have air hoses on all of them, the air will obviously come out the extra parts. But this particular pump is designed to be able to, 1, 4 air hoses, and 2, to be able to push the air, 1 across 15 meters and down 1 meter. So that is why this is especially important for my bigger system. Now, this is a no return valve. Costs 50 cents. This can save you a whole system. If you forget to put your air stone back in because you've taken it out for some cleaning or maintenance, you don't have this and you've left the air stone on the ground, water can come back up through your air hose, from the fish tank into your air pump, shut that down, and if you've got a short within, say, your air pump, that's more than likely going to cause a power outage, but you're thinking, hey, my backup system's going to work. That may also not work. Or it can simply, even if that's not a problem, it can drain your whole fish tank. And I've heard about that happening. So no return valves, 50 cents can save everything. So these air stones are what's actually used to this air pump. Smaller stones are used for the smaller ones. So I've just taken this apart purely so I can show you. So we've got the no return valve, we've got the air hose that are attached. So that means the air can come through. We have more air hose that connects from this little valve to the air stone. Water cannot come back past here. So if I try to, I can't blow back in. So that would mean that it's not letting water in, not letting air in. And that's one of the ways it should tell you out and in. So this one says in, where the hose currently is, so that means that the in, that's going that way, in accordance with that. Very, very simple when you know what you're looking at. If you've got a bigger system than a barrel, have an air pump. Make sure that however deep it's going to be, it's got enough pressure to be able to get down there. If you've got 15 meters of air hosing and it's all wound up in a little bunch, you've got that nice bunch of air hosing because you didn't want to have it spread everywhere, you've got to be able to have an air pump that will push through all of that, or better still, trim the hosing so that it fits the distance. You can always buy a little extender and connect hosing together again if you're needing to change things around. But trying to put more pressure through the hosing gives you less pressure in your air pump, in your air stones in your aquaponics system if there's a problem. Okay, so air pumps, do we need them? Small little system, generally not. Big system, yeah, generally excellent idea, and making sure we have the right one.